heard of small world play, or maybe you haven't. It's exactly as it sounds. Small world play is a context of imaginary play in older toddlerhood, preschool age, and beyond. It's where they use objects and materials to act out their play, create their own little world, form of imaginary play and dramatic play. Children will use these materials or objects to act out what they are desiring or feeling they need to represent in their play. Let's dive deeper into this. I want to show you what I currently offer in my childcare space. Small world play is a component of the early learning environment that I really want to enhance for 2023. Add more materials and to think outside of the box when it comes to this one. Think cheap and free. I also want to work on setting up more invitations for these materials, provide the children with more opportunity. I'm thinking about the outdoor environment as well and how I can bring more small world play opportunities out there. Talking about this with my husband, we came up with something we could make for free. Who doesn't love free? If you stick around to the end of this video, I will give you a sneak peek of that. This is the IKEA Trofast unit, and this is where I currently have my small world play set up. What I love about it is that it's a great height for children, and these are my stools, that my log stumps that just seem to be the right height for this. And these bins are fully removable and can be washed. They're quite durable. What I like is they are easy to label if you want to label them, and clean, and you can pull them out a little bit like I did so you can actually see what is inside of them. When it comes to small world play, think dollhouse, farm setup, those traditional kinds of ways that small world play was, has been in children's toy boxes for decades. But you can think of small world play in today's childhood like that, but going further with it. So what we're doing is we're building play invitations and then watching what children are doing with it and adding to it as we go based off what we think they might be interested in or how their growth or learning can be stimulated further. What we're doing is we're creating opportunity to mingle with those ideas they're thinking about in their heads and they need to express in some way, to act out what they're seeing in their everyday lives or to traverse into new worlds. Okay, I'm gonna sit on one of these stumps here and go through each bin and tell you what is in there and where I got it from and maybe how I see the children using it. Okay, let's do top to bottom, left to right. So in this first bin here, what I have are kind of people. And before I get started, I guess I wanna say the reason I don't have these labeled is because I wanna be able to just change them spontaneously, and the idea of having to print a label, laminate a label, stick on a label every time I do that sounds exhausting and annoying and quite impossible. So we are just doing it unlabeled, but the children can clearly see what it is and they remember where they go. So this is the bin that I have characters in. So these are people. I've got some wooden people. These are Hape and different skin tones. And then I also have some willow tree figures, which I have got secondhand, and I don't really need them and they don't have a special meaning for me. At least these ones don't. I do have some upstairs that mean something to me, but so these ones are for playing. Okay, so we've got people. And what else you'll notice about these bins is I do not have them filled to capacity because that can be overwhelming for children and they're not actually going to use the materials to explore the small world play. They're going to use it for filling and dumping, which is wonderful, and we can do that, but these materials I really want to target the age group I have, and so that means we don't need them fully full. Okay, drawer number 2, I have some like dollhouse furniture, and this is all wooden. This is also from Hape, I believe. I will link everything that are in these bins in the description below if it's a purchased item. So there's this really sweet shower. Beds, tables and chairs, couches, bathtub, sink, there's a toilet. I think there's even a TV somewhere in there. This was all actually pretty affordable too. Next, in the bottom bin, I have some window blocks, and these are maybe children want to create their own little living space or something for the furniture to go in maybe. So these are just window blocks. I've got different shapes and colors in here, and children can build them how they see fit. And then up here I have some more blocks. These are These are the blocks that come in a tray. They all nest in each other within their shape. So all the circles nest together, etc. But I took them out of the tray to just use them in a different way and to provoke the children's thinking and ideas for play in a different way. So maybe this could be like a little doorway. Or maybe this is a special bed for the rabbit or something like that. Open-ended opportunities and a little bit of color added in too. This bin, won't link these below because you can find these at any grocery store or dollar store or wherever. Cotton balls. So in winter, this could be pretend snow. Maybe they unravel them and use them to wrap around the dolls as like a scarf. It's really open for interpretation. And beneath that, I have some plastic animals. Now, I will admit that the plastic animals, those are the things that I invest in. A lot of materials I get for Small World Play are free or cheap, and I do try to get some really good quality, or at least half decent quality, plastic animals. So I will link these below where I got these farm animals. And they came in quite a big package, as well as these. I've got a few like tropical fish in here, and I have chickens outside and the children are obsessed, and so we have some chickens in here as well. I also have some smaller little animals that are like Northern Canada Arctic type animals. And I also have been successful at finding nice quality plastic animals at the thrift store. So check out your thrift store. They more than likely have these every once in a while realistic, good hard plastic animals. These are also great to be taken outside because they are easily washed. Moving on, this bin, I just have some simple wooden rings, and I got these at Dollarama. And these are large enough that they're not going to be a choking hazard for the toddlers. My little guy has gotten this in his mouth, but he's my youngest and he's 12 months. So that's kind of it, but they're not a choking hazard because they're just a big hole, obviously. Again, my bin is not filled up all the way because lots of option, but we don't need an insane amount of loose parts for this age group. Maybe for school agers, they could use a larger capacity, but then they're also going to be aware of, well, if I dump this bucket, I'm going to have to pick it up all again, and I don't want to do that. So, right, we have to think about what's developmentally appropriate. Next bin. Perhaps one of my favorite loose parts for Small World Play, these little realistic trees. They have little log stands, and they're bendable. I have seen ways you can DIY these on Pinterest from like bottle brushes from the dollar store, but these I got from my local dollar store. It's a independent dollar store. I'm not sure if Dollarama has these or Dollar Tree, but it wouldn't hurt to check it out. Perhaps Michael's or other craft stores would have these. I think it was $2 for like a pack of 2, maybe something like that. So it's quite affordable and they're pretty durable. I mean, I've had these out since December or January, and they're played with every day, and they get bent, but you can just bend them back into shape. So I've got different sizes. I've got the really big ones and small ones, and then there are some medium ones. So at Christmas time, I had these set out in a little provocation with some furniture for like a living room Christmas tree. And then on the bottom, I just have a few, and there was a few more in here, but they've been scattered elsewhere. Just small nature blocks. And I actually just made these myself. I went out to my bush. I'm lucky enough to have that. If you have a friend or relative, or you yourself live in the woods, just go get a branch or stick. Even if you just have a tree on your property and a branch falls down, just take it and cut it up. And then I don't even think I sanded these. So, you know, probably it'd be even nicer if you sanded them, but I don't think it's super necessary, to be honest. Unless they're extremely sharp, but like, I guess this was an old kind of dead branch, so it's pretty smooth already. Yeah. I've been holding off on purchasing a dollhouse, a traditional dollhouse, because I just wanted to be a little bit more creative with it, and I'm also really cheap. I didn't want to spend like $100 or $200 or more on a nice wooden dollhouse, and I have been keeping my eye out at the thrift store. No luck yet, but I can't go as often now that I work full time. I wanted to put some more thought into it and just be creative. I also love a good DIY. With that being said, I asked my husband to make us something and to, give him creative freedom to just do whatever he kind of could dream up of for our small world play. Just used bits and pieces of stuff from around the garage and from our property, and this is what he came up with. I love it. One more thing I want to add to it. Go ahead and show you what a provocation could look like, or play invitation could look like for the children here, because I'm just too excited and I want to play myself. While I do this, I want to tell you about the books that he used to make this. We found a branch just from outside. These are pieces of hardboard he just cut and drilled in. A piece of scrap wood, another piece of scrap wood that had an interesting knot in it. These pieces here are a little towel rack. He took the ends off and they're nice and round and finished. And then just added these little pieces of scrap wood around to make a little house on top. And underneath he put a little ring for me to hang a little tire swing. How sweet is that? This tire is actually from a block set, so you could also pull one off of a old toy car if you wanted. So now you know it doesn't have to cost very much or even any money at all to get started or extend your current small world play zone in your classroom. It can be as simple as just walking around with a basket in your house and picking random materials that have varying textures and shapes and sizes, and opportunity for the children to learn. If you liked this video, maybe you'd like to check out how I had my classroom set up back in December 2022. You can see the small world space I had for back then.